Another Tuesday night. Hi, I'm Ray Holley. Welcome to another session with Linda Live, where you will gain insight and guidance through Linda's channeling her spirit guides and speak with your own spirit guides, those who know you best. So let's get started. Here she is, the author and winner of the 2017 International Body, Mind, Spirit Book Award for her true life story, Guided. Her spirit guide angels were her best friends and life coaches, Linda Deir. How do you do that? You're going to have to show me how you do that sometime.
Isn't that the best? All right, Ray. Each week in Linda's weekly guided insights, I ask my guides, what's the most important thing for you to know right now? We channel these insights using Ask the Universal Channel, the same way your guides interact with you in a personal angel coaching session with me. To receive Linda's weekly guided insights, just go to my website, lindadeir.com, and sign up. Tonight, the guides will be talking about the consequences of your choices. This was published today in Linda's weekly guided insights. And like always, Ray will be monitoring the Facebook feed for your questions and comments. So feel free to speak up and let me know what's on your mind regarding tonight's insight. Now I will read the excerpt from today's insight while Ray's checking for your questions on the Facebook feed. Here's consequences of your choices. Here's why consequences of your choices have a negative connotation. Why do people tend to procrastinate when it comes to making a decision? Many become frozen in their tracks and unable to decide which way to go, what to do, and why they should or shouldn't do something. What are they afraid of? They are afraid of the consequences. While most people think that consequences are bad or negative, they are not. There are positive consequences to a situation or decision and negative consequences to others. It could be both. So why do people focus on negative consequences in their decision making? So Ray, what do we have?
Well, let's see. Veronica's here, Bridget's here,
Great, you guys.
Luna's here. Hi, everybody.
Great.
I don't see any questions yet. Go ahead and paste your questions
Yeah,
in.
bring your questions up about today's insight. And, you know, it's really about consequences. People think, well, oh my gosh, there's consequences. And that knee-jerk reaction, that fear that people feel about consequences is something that is a layover or a hangover from other lifetimes. It's something that everyone has faced consequences in throughout their lives. But in lifetimes before, there was less leeway, less forgiveness, less freedom, basically, in your previous lifetimes. So if you made a mistake, and there are no mistakes, they're all lessons, and that's how we learn, and that's why we came here. And you know, it's a yin yang. It is a, it's about, you know, the way this works here, the duality in this world and how it works. So it's not a bad thing, it's how we all learn. And there are some consequences around making a decision one way or the other, but it doesn't have the penalty associated with it like it used to in other lifetimes. So it's like when you come here, you immediately are on guard about having consequences in your life because it's filtering through, bleeding through from other lifetimes when the consequences were pretty severe. And, you know, if you did something like you got in debt, you couldn't get out of it. If you got married to someone that became someone else as soon as you got married to them, you couldn't get out of it. You were trapped. You know, there are a lot of things that there was no leeway, there was no forgiveness, there was no room, and you were not free. But you are free now. And these consequences that you get, that knee-jerk reaction, you feel that fear-based thinking hit you.
Right.
That's just a layover from before because there's no reality in it now. I mean, if you go out and you deliberately hurt somebody, there's going to be terrible consequences to that. But most people know better than that, okay? Just living your life, starting a business, or, you shouldn't let things scare you so much. This life isn't something that you have to fear like you would have had to fear in lifetimes before. So my guides, when I first came into this life, the one thing that they told me, and they made very clear, is that most people will die having lived fear-based lives in our lifetime from this generation. And that's going to be tragic because you didn't need to go out like that, okay? It's the fear, the consequences, fear, from other lifetimes you're remembering it that keeps you stuck. So let up on yourself. Take some chances. Live your life, and don't worry so much about the consequences as long as you do the best with what you know, okay?
All right. We've got questions pouring in the door.
Bring them on.
Oh, bring on those questions. Veronica says, why do people focus on the negative consequences more so than the positive consequences?
Exactly by what I said. It's a carryover from lifetimes. We all come in with it. It's like some kind of guilt that's lingering from some other time, and we don't even know where it came from. Why should we be ashamed? It's another shame point, okay? So why do we feel that when it's got there's no reasoning behind it? It doesn't make any sense why we feel it instantly, So it's a carryover from other lifetimes. It's amazing. Yeah.
All right, next question. Can we ramp up our awareness on the positive realities rather than the negative side?
Who's talking?
That's Veronica again.
Okay, say that again, Ray.
Can we ramp up our awareness on the positive reality side, positive consequences?
Yeah.
How do they do that?
Yeah. To break the pattern and the connection people have to consequences, okay? I always tell you guys to write down what's going on in your life. My Guided Journey, it's another book I published about a couple months ago. It's available on Amazon. And when you take the journey back, your journey in part 2, you're going to see what I'm talking about regarding consequences, about when you first came into this life and how you got stopped out in those early years, and examine that. And then you can, once you see what it is, then you can do something about it. But you can't do anything about something you don't remember, something you can't even see, okay? You've got to go back and you've got to revisit those early years. That's what part 2 of My Guided Journey does. And then, as you're moving through your life in part 3, it takes you into present day life in your life. And you write out what's going on day to day, what's going on, what you're noticing, how you're catching yourself, how you're realizing things, you're beginning to understand things. It's just a place to deposit and log those thoughts, feelings, those situations, those awarenesses, so that you've got a place to go back to and refer back to it, and it reinforces where you're going. You've got to go back where you've been in order to understand what happened, and then in part 3, the journal writing, where you're going, and keep and move into why your life, why you came here, the life you came here to live, the connection to your guides. You're not in this alone. You have this connection to your guides from the world you came from, and you interface it with the world that you're in. And all of a sudden, consequences are nothing more than, at that point, is nothing more than somebody's opinion of you. And if somebody has something to say about how you're living your life, the choices you've made, the things that you're doing, a lot of it's jealousy, you guys. Mm-hmm. Okay? So you can't let what other people think about you stop you out. All right?
That's good. All right, this question kind of falls right into that. That's Jane. Hi, Jane.
Hi, Jane.
The guide said that we plan everything before we get here, right?
Right.
I feel like that would mean I'm not really creating my reality. I'm only allowing it to unfold or not allowing it to unfold by making certain decisions. Is that the case?
Yeah, I think it would be. And we're going to let your guides talk to you about that. That's a great question.
That is a good question.
And your spirit guides and angels are here with us now, Jane, and they're going to answer that question. And here they go.
The allowing your life to unfold is not as easy as it sounds, because people do tend to live fear-based lives, even though there's nothing to fear. The consequences that people are afraid of are only going to provide you with experiences or lessons. Both are okay. If it's an experience, it's a learning experience. If it's a lesson, it's karma you had to resolve before you move on and not have to face it again.
There you go. That's all there is to it. What else do we have, Ray?
We have...
That was a great question, Jane.
Kathy and Bridget. Kathy says, what is the best way to get rid of that fear that we brought with us?
That fear. Okay, that's a great question. We're going to let your guides talk to you about that. Your spirit guides and angels are here with us now, Kathy, and they're going to answer that question. And here they go.
Kathy, are you sure you brought fear with you as a baby? Most babies are not afraid of anything. They will try things that most adults would be afraid to, and they grow and learn through curiosity. The fear is something that gradually builds up as you get older and have more experiences that didn't turn out the way you wanted them to.
Right. And again, it has to do with those things that didn't turn out the way you wanted them to. You're picking up unfinished business from previous lifetimes to complete it this time. So when you get fearful, you didn't bring the fear with you. You remembered the fear from other lifetimes. It felt so real. Okay? What else do we have, Ray?
Bridget. She's been spending more time driving in her car these past several months. She's noticed an irritation in her throat and lungs. Should I invest in a new air filter for the car to protect my lungs?
All right. Now this is a little off topic we got here going here, Bridget, but here they go.
It's most likely a reaction to spending more time in polluted air. You could make sure your filter on your air conditioning system is working well and clean, but it's also symbolic of communication. Try talking more to your passengers and don't hold back.
See that? Don't be afraid, Bridget. Don't let fear have you. So what else do we have, Ray?
That's the last one.
All right.
There.
Okay. So what we're going to do, you guys, we hope that answered some of your questions. Thank you, Veronica.
Is it Kathy?
No, Veronica and Kathy for your comments on today's insight on the blog. Those were great questions.
Those were good questions.
Yeah, those were really good. Okay, so we've got some interesting things going on, don't we always, huh? So the next 2 Tuesdays is Christmas and New Year's. Our Tuesdays, right? So look for us on Tuesday, January 8th, 2019, when you join Linda Live on Facebook for your questions and Linda's commentary about that week's insight. This will be a 15-minute Q&A and commentary with Linda at 6 to 6:15 p.m. Pacific time, so don't miss it. To be published that Tuesday morning on January 8th, 2019, the guides will be talking about what guided teaches. This has been a consistent request of the readers and listeners of Guided ever since it was published in 2014. The guides will summarize what Guided teaches, making it easy to comprehend and apply to your life. Most importantly, you will like what they will be telling you because it's not something you have to do. It's what you finally get to do. What you get to become, how your life will come alive as you start to follow your heart. You will be living the life you intended before you got here with the awareness that you are never alone and always being guided. Let the healing begin. So it's from your heart that you make this connection to your guides, you guys. The only time that anything could interfere with that, heart, love energy, the opposite of love is fear, is when we get into that fearful place where we get into distractions, where we start to worry about, am I doing the right thing? Am I doing enough? Am I good enough? Am I whatever, okay? When you start to doubt yourself and you start to move that way, that's when you break the connection to your guides. And that's why you miss the guidance most of the time. It's because we get in the way of it. We put pressure on ourselves. When I was a baby in Guided, I talk about in the early chapter, in chapter 1, about how I realized that they couldn't reach me until the pressure was released. Okay, actually, it was chapter 2. I take that back. And once the pressure was released, they showed up all around me. Nothing was blocking it. And that's at 20 months old that happened. So I know that's how it works. I remember it. And when I asked for someone to come and help me, I asked with my heart, and my heart was open, okay? So when you guys, in your day-to-day life, what you need to do when you catch yourself, Kathy, in that fearful place and you just can't seem to get your head around it, you can't stop it. Breathe. Let your body have oxygen again. Quit cutting off its life force. Bridget, okay? Breathe, Bridget. And when you breathe, it's the breath. Now your communication starts to open up. You can then express yourself much better than the old you, the worried you, the fearful you, the doubting you. All right? And or what people are thinking about you. Oh my God, you guys, it's not important what they think about you. You should hear what they think about themselves. It makes you look small in comparison to the way they think about themselves. So it's not something you need to be the example. You need to allow yourself to live this life and not worry about those consequences so much, and not let this life scare you so much, okay? That's what this is all about. And when you do that, people will look at you, they'll go, oh my God, you are so brave. I've had people say that to me. And I look at it like, what choice did I have? I was brave. Well, that's a byproduct of who I became and what I learned from it, from that experience. So it doesn't matter what they think about you. If they think you're wonderful or if they don't like you, you're not living their life. You're living your life. So, you guys, we're going to close the session with their closing message to you about the consequences of your choices. And here they go.
When a person has a decision to make or has reached a crossroads, you can go to the right or to the left. There may be positive consequences or negative ones. But there's a third choice rather than left or right. You could do nothing. And that's when you get frozen in your tracks, so to speak. If you do nothing, there could be worse consequences than if you did anything. People who are fearful see only the future in a negative light. And they allow their memories from the past to confirm that.
That's another reason you need to write in your journal about what's going on in your day-to-day life, part 3, my journal writing. And keep watching yourself, documenting what's going on in your life, so you break those patterns, those programs, that knee-jerk reaction. That's how you break it. You've got to document it so then you can look at it, refer back to it in a week or 2 or a month, and go, oh, okay, I'm catching myself now. You become your own parent. We'll see you next year.
Next year on Tuesday.
On Tuesday, January 8th, 2019. And that's going to be what guided
teaches. It's going to be exciting.
It's going to wrap it all up.
I've seen some of the advanced work here.
And we are available on Saturdays, you guys, from 11 to 3. Go to my homepage, lindadeir.com, on Eventbrite. So if you need our help, we're there.
Especially during the holidays.
Right. Okay. Good night.
All right. Happy holidays,
and
everybody.
Happy holidays to all of you.